Today I want to talk about Rueben Owens, who has decommitted from the University of Texas. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. I want to talk about 2023 running back Rueben Owens, who has decided to decommit from the University of Texas. And that's probably a smart thing to do at this point. He had committed to Texas back in February, but you still got a little bit of time before we're really getting into the nitty gritty of what this recruiting landscape is going to look like by the time he has to early enroll, or gets to early enroll, I should say, next fall, right? So we still got another year of football to play here. But I think the take here is Steve Sarkisian and running backs coach Stan Drayton still have a lot of work to do to get Texas into the kind of category that Texas fans have wanted them to be in basically forever, which is on par with Alabama, on par with Georgia, on par with LSU, on par with Ohio State, on par with Clemson. And to do that, you're going to have to stock the cupboard, man. You're going to have to put together 5-star after 5-star, and that was what Rueben Owens was, or is. He's a 5-star. He's a top 25 player, number 24 in the 247 Sports Composite. And the kind of player that really projects to the country at large, Texas is Texas. Now, we can keep talking about what Texas is or isn't, but it's a developmental argument. It's not a recruiting argument. Like Texas and Texas A&M have become two programs in the state of Texas that we have expected to finish among the top 10 programs in recruiting each and every year. As a matter of fact, going back to 2018, A&U has finished no worse than 17th, and Texas has finished no worse than 15th. And both of them have had really great peak years. Like Texas got up to number 3 at one point, and A&U got up to number 4 at one point. They're good. They just haven't been able to develop the kind of players that Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, LSU have, just to knock off some of the teams that have won the last national championships. Matter of fact, I think those are the only teams that have won the national championship in the last 5 years. But that's what you're competing with, right? Because the difference between Texas and those schools right now is really first-round picks, particularly at quarterback and tailback, right? In this day and age, it is a feat to put a running back into the first round of the NFL draft, because the nature of analytics has led us to understand that passing adds more points per expected points at it than running the ball, unless that's what you're really, really good at. And if you're really, really good at it, like the Baltimore Ravens, then you build your entire team around it. And that's why Lamar Jackson is only the second ever unanimous MVP in the league. But what I'm getting at here is Clemson put Travis Etienne in the NFL draft. They also put Najee Harris in the NFL draft, both in the first round, to go along with their respective quarterbacks who were also drafted in the first round. And if you're looking at Alabama, you can also see wide receivers drafted in the first round to go along with offensive linemen. The knock on Clemson right now is their offensive line. Like Jackson Carman might be the best offensive lineman that they put out in the Dabo Swinney era, which is kind of staggering when you take a look at how good Clemson has been, winning 2 of the last 5 national championships and putting 2 of the great college football players of all time on the map in Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Both of those guys won national championships. Deshaun Watson became the first player ever to pass for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards. And of course, Trevor Lawrence was the first true freshman to lead his team to a national championship at quarterback since Jamel Holloway in 1985, right? That's 30 friggin' years. So you're looking at Texas and you're seeing Bijan Robinson, right? You saw Jaden Blue, who's decided he's not going to play his last year of high school football so he can focus on playing at the University of Texas. And you see what kind of athletes they have at wide receiver, Jordan Whittington and Jake Smith, to go along with perhaps their best wide receiver in Joshua Moore. If Pete Kwiatkowski can flip that defense around into something that is a world beater, yeah, we'll see Texas back in a tremendous way very soon and very quickly. But I think right now you keep your eye on Rueben Owens. You keep recruiting him if you are Texas. And you'll get tailbacks, right? You'll get offensive linemen. It's about developing those guys into first rounders. And I think if Texas has a banner year this year and Bijan Robinson looks like the next great NFL running back, yeah, Rueben Owens is probably going to rethink this and might get back on board. But a lot of this is dependent on not just how well you play in the fall, but how well you produce come next April. And I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of changes. We're just going to have the same discussions about Texas between now and then, because NFL draft only comes around once a year, and you only get to change that narrative once a year. So if you're a Texas fan, I wouldn't be too worried about this. But again, it speaks to the larger issue of Texas trying to be what, well, eludes them in Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, LSU. All right. The other part about that I find to be interesting is Rueben Owens himself, who is really a comp for TJ Yeldon at Alabama. I mean, he's already 5'11", about $190. He's got a tremendous, powerful running style. Like Bijan, he's the kind of guy that can carry the load for anybody, quite honestly. And I'm very excited to see what he looks like after another year of high school football. But again, tailbacks, right? You need a bunch of them, because those dudes are usually going to get hurt, or you're going to have something happen. Like Najee just kind of showed out last year in a way that really simplifies his durability and how good they are at keeping guys healthy at Alabama, especially after the year in which, well, they had 4 of their 7 starters in the front 7 in 2019 get hurt for one reason or another. I think Rueben Owens is going to be one of those great tailbacks. I can't wait to watch him get to the next level. I'm also really interested to see what you think of Rueben Owens decommitting from the University of Texas. Let me know in the comments below. Also, keep it locked here for the #1 ranked show dropping on Monday. We thought we got Matt Leinart. He had a thing happen, but got Bruce Feldman. I'm going to talk about the news in college football, so be sure to be here for that Monday. All right, that's it for me. Doses.